Dear all, a very good afternoon. I hope that you're all doing great and that you begin to enjoy a bit your break. Um, with this video, I just wanted to conclude our journey for this semester when it comes to the venture planning unit, and just to thank you all for having been part of this learning experience and journey. And I really hope that these learnings that we took together and this whole spectrum of topics that we discussed was meaningful, was useful, and you can take on board things that you can transfer back to your work, to your ventures, to your personal lives. As you have seen, venture planning is a unit which touches upon different things, and it's also multi-sectoral but also multi-level and multi-dimensional. So basically you can translate the learnings from this unit both on your individual level, on your team level, on your company level, but also on a more of a policy or more of a broader ecosystem level. And one of the key things that I would like you to remember is basically the fact that planning is both important but at the same time is primarily strategic. So basically, the strategy is inherent to how you plan your venture, how to plan your project, how to plan your startup, and how also to plan your corporate projects that you might be working on. Also, all of them included and put together within an ecosystem and a cohort of different capabilities that you can and you need to mobilize accordingly. So if we can just have a quick snapshot. During the first block, we discussed about lean startup and the importance of what we call this fast-moving entrepreneurship and experiential and experimental entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship by learning and doing. This constant iterative approach to with the customer, with the user, with the ecosystem, and with the real market that your potential venture or project is aiming at, and how do you get this validated learning to pivot or to continuously develop your product or your service. And through the MVP, the let's say the valuable the most viable product that you have available, you're able to see and test the waters in a way that is meaningful for the venture, while at the same time you minimize loss of resources and time. Please remember that but lean doesn't mean cheap, but lean is more in relationship to being in constant interaction with the external world and getting this validated feedback and this validated approach, which can either allow you to continue or to pivot or basically to shelf it and say that's not it and I can't move forward with that. We also discussed things about the blue ocean strategy as a new way of thinking and thinking differently and changing your mindset towards moving from competing with an existing market and an existing industry towards creating a new market or an additional complementary approach that can help you create new rules, create new narratives, create new paradigms, which is very important for you to be able to put together a space that is available for your product or your service. Then we moved on to one of the foundational aspects of venturing, which is all around business model. What are the different types of business models, transformational, open, and so on? And what does innovation mean across the different capabilities and components of the business model? How the business model is linked to planning and how it's linked to strategy and how it's linked to entrepreneurship. We saw different models and we also saw how trends and new capabilities change business models in terms of technology, in terms of data, in terms of moving from, let's say, from a product or a service to more of a different style and different aspects of business modeling. And we also saw how you can orchestrate the different capabilities in order to change, shift, but also populate new resources or additional resources or even resources that you might not even have thought before in terms of innovating across your business model. And we looked at different tools such as the lean canvas, the business model canvas, that shows you a pictorial view of what and how your business model looks like. Then we discuss about the business plan, which is, let's say, the passport or the driving license of your venture. And we saw how all these different pieces are being put together. And we saw that the business plan is a living document, is a document that really allows you to see the bigger picture, put together and have it there to be able to hand it over to an investor, to a bank, to a customer, to anybody, to a regulator, anyone who is interested in understanding what is the venture, where are you heading, what is the value proposition, that basically to fit the pain of the consumer and the customer with the solution that you're providing. And we saw that a business model, a business plan is basically a tank where you put all the different data that you have collected through primary research, secondary research, and you try and put it in such a way that is basically the curriculum vitae of your venture. It's a living document. It keeps on changing constantly, but it's part of your strategic trajectory, and it's part also of the identity of your venture, which allows you to see again the bigger picture. And we saw also the components, the different techniques and the different tools that you can use to mobilize accordingly in order to put together this document. And again, don't only see it as a document, but see it as a cohort of information that is being put together that will allow you to refine your pitch, to refine the information that you provide, to understand your financials, to understand your value proposition, to understand your marketing strategy, to understand your growth strategy, to understand who are your competitors, what is the industry that you are embarking on in terms of activity, what is the actual product or service that you're offering, and so on, and how do you use this kind of information for developing your venture further. And venture is not only about startup, it can be a corporate project, it can be an application for a grant, it can be anything. And during the final block 5, we went through and touched upon different aspects of entrepreneurial funding and entrepreneurial finance. We talked a bit about family business, and we also had a bit of a chat when it comes to international strategies. And I just wanted to help you understand that planning is not only at the beginning, planning is a constant and continuous loop of activities that start from the birth towards the realization and the growth of a venture. And you see also the overall pathway and the overall pipeline of different activities that are linked across the different stages. So, for example, if I could use an analogy with the financial technology, see planning as some sort of an API, some sort of an open banking, let's put it that way, of an open platform where you've got different APIs plugged in and out that contribute and feed on information that then you can use either on an individual component, such as, let's say, marketing, such as financing, such as product or service development, but they're all linked together and they're being put back together in a strategic trajectory that gives you the overall spectrum of how your strategic planning is being developed. Again, I really hope that the time that we spent together at Pitcher Partners was meaningful, that you are able to personalize and operationalize the different tools and different learning outcomes that we got from the unit. As I said to my email, all your assignments have now been marked. I'm sure you've got all your grades except for the final assignment revealed. The final mark and the grade of the unit will be revealed to you on July the 9th, so keep an eye on the Canvas shell. All the assignments have been duly marked, moderated, and there is individual feedback for every one of you. I really hope that we'll be in touch, that I'll be seeing you again. And I just wanted to thank you once again for having chosen to be with me throughout this semester. And I would like to wish you the best of luck with all your current and future endeavors. And remember to translate all these learning outcomes and all these tools in a way that is meaningful for you, and also allow time to digest everything that you've heard, everything that you have experienced, everything that you've went through together with the guest speakers that we had from different industries. And remember that for you, this is just the beginning, it's not the end. And I really hope that this unit has helped you not only get a knowledge management approach, but also a behavioral approach, and also the change of the mindset in the way we approach information and the way we distill information and the way we do research and the way we understand how each piece is being linked and connected together. So once again, thank you so much and best of luck with everything. Have a nice day and have a lovely break. And if you're around campus, just drop by my office and say hi. I'll always be available to have a chat with you. Take care.